Hey, it's me, Jeff, your favorite buff, muscular anime guy. Today I decided that I was gonna do my own protein take on tacos. I was sitting around, I was like, man, I love tacos. Man, I love tortillas. But, you know, the tortilla is the big problem because there's no protein in there. So I started off with 1 scoop of my favorite unflavored protein powder. I then threw in a sprinkle of salt, and I also threw in a sprinkle of baking powder. I didn't bother measuring these because they were a third of a teaspoon, and that was pretty small, so I just figured a general sprinkle would probably be fine. I then stirred it all up so that it was one mixture, which wasn't very hard because there was only 3 ingredients. I was then supposed to add a cup of warm water to the middle, and I thought, I can improve on this. I can make protein water. So I took some water, I threw in about a third of a scoop of protein powder as well, and then I mixed that all up, and then I threw it into the middle of the pile of the mixture just like that. At this point, the recipe wanted me to use oil, and I was like, oil? That's not a lot of protein, so I'm gonna use an egg instead. So I took an egg, and I cracked it, and I threw it right in the middle as well. I then mixed that all up, and I did my best to get rid of the clumps, but it didn't actually work. It was still a very lumpy mixture, as you can see here. It was also a lot thinner than I was expecting, as you can see when I play this video. It kind of moved around pretty much like water. It wasn't very batter-like at all. So then I went to my stove, and I took the biggest pan I had because I knew this was going to be a big tortilla. I threw in a little bit of margarine because I don't have any anti-stick spray. And then I melted it, and I did that fun thing where you make the butter move around the pan because I'm actually a child when I cook. I then poured in the mixture, and as you can see, the clumps were a big problem here because, well, you can see how much was left in the pan. So here's what it looks like in the pan. It was just kind of a liquidy, clumpy mess. And it did eventually start to solidify, and it did bubble a little bit. As you can see here, it's kind of bubbling like, you know, you would expect something very bready, almost like a pancake would do. And when I tried to flip it, I came to the realization that it was not solid enough for me to flip. It was actually just falling apart. So I decided I had to do this the old-fashioned way. And this is something that I've never actually practiced before, and I want you guys to tell me how proud you are of me. Boom! Look at that! I'm actually a cooking god. So from there, I threw it on my plate, and on this side, if you ignore the shape, it actually kind of looks like a tortilla. So now we have a protein tortilla. I threw on some ground beef that I had sitting in the fridge. I just heated this up in the microwave. The beef was seasoned with oregano and garlic and onion and salt and pepper and chili powder, and I think that's it. I then threw on all the stuff that fell off of the tortilla in the pan, because I wasn't going to waste any protein on this. I then threw on some unflavored Greek yogurt in place of sour cream because they taste pretty much the exact same, but one of them is protein and one of them is not. I chopped up some tomatoes and threw those on top, and then I had a really giga-brain idea. I had 2 hot sauces that I like right now. One of them was recommended to me by my good friend Godface, that's the green one. And I didn't want to choose between them, so I threw them both in a bowl. I then threw protein powder on top of it. So I mixed that up, and it kind of made this really thick paste, and I was like, wow, that's going to be really hard to spread. That's not what I want. So I just dumped some water in there, and when I was done stirring it around, it actually kind of became a sauce again. So I was proud of myself for this one. My brain was feeling extra large. And then I dumped it on top of the taco, and there we go. There's the finished protein taco. The beef was good, but I already knew that. Everything else was fine. The tortilla kind of sucked, though. If I had to rate it, I would probably give it a 5. Alright, I'll see you next Sunday. Goodbye!